Hello and hi everyone. Hello, good evening. Before we begin, I would like to give a huge shout out to all of my active patron members. A big thank you to Stephen Rue, Strifes, Braden, Albedo Jen, Kalira Star, Jane the Zinni, Ironia, Sierra Gillen, Lexendor Devunt, Azalea, Battlebugs, Nodentur, Envious Nova, Indigoblin, Rachel C., Makoto, Spam Juniper Turn, Aelin, Lavish Hair, Azura Akumor, Nobody at All, Agultha, Ragecat 888, Amy Wires, The Octa Hat, Evelyn Puppy, Rosebound, Fish Salad, Sarha Smith, Valkyr Tenno, Galahad, Selgor Agaras, Marissa Crucidasame, Benifer the Potato, Genetic Zero, ZT Mackin, Queen of all Dread Boys, Void Dweller, Teeth for 5, Elster's Shiny Things, Jessica, Amy Olgers, Lost in Wonderland, Chloe, Bear the Space Witch, Ellipses, CM Fireflies, Some Guy, Ghost 48, Joanna, Indigo, Aelin, Kai, TGSTGA, Eden, Mick Shepherd, Captain Aardvark 986, Lily Adams, Hazel, Alice, Kolik 92, DFA Plays, Robot Waifu, and Bloodmouth. Thank you. Thank you so very much for all of your support. It truly means the universe to me. If you too wish to become an active patron, please click the link in the description down below to visit my Patreon page. You won't be disappointed. And with that out of the way... Hi, I'm back. Hello. Hello, hello, and hi. Hi, hi, and hello. How are you doing today? Boop. Hello. Hello, hello. Meow. Ah, I'm flashing. My color's flashing. Boop. As a matter of fact, all I think that does is just make me look a little bit darker. Which do you prefer, this one? Or this one? This one? Or this one? I think I'll turn it off. For the time being, I'll let it be turned off so that I could be my bright self. Hello! Hello and hi and welcome! How's my voice? I hope it isn't too loud for you. I hope that isn't too quiet either. I've been listening to a lot of my other streams, and I've been noticing that I've been incredibly quiet. Have I always been that quiet? I do apologize. Wasn't my intention, but it seems that my microphones always seem to record on lower decibel settings. Also, hello and welcome Ray, Mary, Emma, Demon, Strifes, Cloud Gorvis, Maya, Spyro. Hello, hello, and hi, Chloe. It's very, very good to see you. Emma being, good morning, Night City! Could definitely do the Night City speech again. Excuse me. Ray says might hop off in a few minutes to keep exercising and then shower, but for now I'm catching my breath. Yes, it's always really, really nice to catch one's breath. Mary says the invincibility power-up is active. Strife says post-gym shower vibes for me still, so I'm doing great. Excellent. Our dear Strife is getting strong. Cod Corva says, oh, maybe you have? I haven't noticed, but I noticed YouTube ads were very loud in comparison, so maybe that was the reason. I just assumed the ads were insufferable. Hello, bye. Also, Maya's mom made banana bread. That's great. Strife says, strong indeed. Good girl. Well, that's not the best snap I can do. There we go. Oh, poor Mary. I'm so sorry. Demon says, I'm planning on doing some stuff so I can pay for stuff I need to be happy. Excellent! Also, how's my mic sounding now? Is it far too quiet still, or is it far too loud? Ray says, strength comes in training both mind and body. Woohoo! Woohoo indeed. Chloe says you're clipping a little when you get loud though right now, I think. Oh dear. But good volume? Yeah. I tend to clip very, very much when I get incredibly enthusiastic. It makes me wonder if it is at all possible for me to scream with these microphones without it sounding awful. Emma says already making me bork. OMG. Good girl. Always flubbing up that particular snap. Good girl. There we go. Ray says the ghosts in the machine are suppressing you. Chloe says might as well try. Well, I took a drink. Might as well try. Good morning, Night City! Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to the unabated gang wars. One officer down, so I guess you're all screwed. Cause the NCPD will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Netrunners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid. While over in Westbrook, trauma teams scraping cyber psycho victims off the pavement. And in Pacifica, well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. This has been your gal Nico. Join me in another day in our City of Dreams. Cinder says, I can't help with audio because my headphones make everything sound muddy. Yeah, I've been there. Hello, Adam. Hi, Cutiefox. Not me flushing at every good girl. Aw. Poor thing. Emma says, I got so flustered I accidentally refreshed the page. OMG. Flirting's so good that even those netrunners looking in on the screen have been refreshing. Chloe says, Char, who wants to come over and watch Evangelion in my beautiful 27 Sony Trinitron with me. Bisexual says, that was perfect, Cutiefox, that Night City intro. Ray says, and speaking of dreams, I must continue to vicariously live through mine and dance, also known as I'm going to continue exercise and shower. Mary says, City of Dreams? Nightmares, maybe? Maybe. Hello and welcome to the Fox Den stream. Here we talk about all manner of things, including politics, religion, and of course current affairs. And all wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow of foxy mischief. So strap on in, and I do hope you enjoy yourselves. I don't oftentimes get into that sort of radio producer persona, but doesn't that just sound so peppy when I do? It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. We all know that I sometimes have... I only on rare occasions know what I'm talking about. And even then, there's like a mountain of asterisks next to what I say. Always, always, always fact check me, because I am an entertainer. I have basically run feral for about 15 years and never got a proper education. What I do know is mostly stuff that I've learned due to enthusiasm. So please keep anything that I say that could potentially be read as factual with a grain of salt. Cinder says, Cream made me lose a lot of energy, so I'll have to go soon to sleep. I see. I hope you rest well when you do. Demon says, I am dead. Not a big surprise. Cheerio, Ray. Demon says, medic while dying here for form cuteness overload. Chloe's like, I can't spell chat. Mary says, also beware the tail. It's very fluffy and will mesmerize you with its cute swishing fluff. Oh, yes indeed. You have to be incredibly careful next to a fox girl, even if she isn't a confirmed kitsune. Because even if she isn't a confirmed kitsune trickster, she's still a fox by nature tricksters. They may take any and all opportunities to mesmerize you in order to do anything from steal your lunch to steal you away from your couch, or your chair, or your bed, wherever you happen to be tuning into the stream. Cloud says, again, you seem very good on dinosaur facts, but I suppose I didn't learn those from school either, so I suppose I'm technically not that much better. Personally, I don't really much care for the demonization of simply not having attained a formal education. Well, mainly because I don't really agree with how formal education is set up right now. As it stands, it sounds to me that it's incredibly torturous, not just to the people who are supposed to be running the system, the teachers, and of course the government, but also it's torturous on the children as well. I am a firm believer that people are predisposed to want to learn. That we want to learn new things, even as we grow older and as we change. And I think that school, the formalized education system, has this nasty habit of crushing our natural curiosity. Also, I'm concerned that might be a mosquito, so I'm just going to do a casual little bit of extermination. I will be right back. Oh, don't worry. I'm still here. Hi. Hello, hello indeed. Yeah, as it turns out, it was a mosquito that was lurking on the wall. I was just looking over and seeing, like, this dark shape on the wall. I'm like, oh no, is that what I think it is? Yep, 6 legs, all arranged in the ways that mosquitoes' legs are arranged. Yeah, I don't like mosquitoes. Especially when they get so emboldened as to land on my hands while I'm working. Yeah, I don't like being feasted upon by the little vampires that don't even have the decency to say good morning or good evening before taking a taste. Cinder says, has the Foxo become a Dalek? She wants to exterminate. Also, a human. Welcome. A casual little bit of extermination. Of course. Of course it's a casual little bit of extermination. I much rather try to make the apartment a comfy place to live in. It is incredibly messy on my end as well, simply because, well, I'm a fox. I like to nest. And oftentimes I lack energy in order to effectively clean up the place. So it's become a little bit cramped and a little bit messy. It is a wonder that Demon Fox Akira puts up with me at all. But I'm thankful that she does. Which means that probably after the stream is done, I'll do a little bit of cleaning as thanks. And try to make it a habit to keep doing so in the future. I have a little bit of what you would call an executive function disorder. Runs in my family, honestly. Why do you think I ended up the way that I did? But hey, I'm trying to get by the best that I can. Chloe says, I believe in preserving the life of nearly all things. Mosquitoes are the exception. Chloe says, and I'm going ads that aren't loading. GG's. I'm so terribly sorry, Chloe. Also, yeah, mosquitoes, ticks, bedbugs. Oof. If there's one thing that I could potentially click my fingers and have just never ever exist, either now or ever again, it would be bedbugs. Bedbugs are quite literally the worst, just from what I've heard. I have had nightmares about attaining a bedbug infestation due to a careless act here or there, and it's like, no, thank you. I want my fur to be pristine and bug-free. Glad says, I remember there was a mosquito on the seat across from me on the subway once, and I absolutely could not tell it was a mosquito till I went and booped it with my gloves. It was just still. Demon says, pet the fox. A human says, any bug that bites needs to be exterminated. Honest to goodness, I would be of that mindset, except for the fact that bugs are already being exterminated. Everywhere. And not just mosquitoes or ticks, but insects of all kinds, really. Especially if they interfere with industrial farming. It's actually gotten fairly bad in the United States as far as I'm aware, and it could be the same elsewhere as well. Simply put, the swarms are being depleted, and they're not coming back. Take cars, for example. Bugs used to absolutely mess up windshields as of like 20, 30 years ago. But now, you'd be lucky to hit one in 30 minutes. Chloe says, why does my autocorrect only ever change words into the wrong words? Doesn't fix errors, doesn't do much of anything. Just makes it look like I can't type a coherent sentence. I'm so sorry. Emma says, I can begrudgingly accept the existence of many annoying creatures as a necessary part of the ecosystem, but bedbugs? No, eradication is the only way. I happen to agree. Bloodsuckers are spreaders of disease, mostly. And while centipedes do gain, centipedes and millipedes do both get their nutrition from bugs like ticks and bedbugs, especially the dead ones, I'm pretty sure they can get the same level of nutrition by eating other bugs. So, yeah, ticks and bedbugs can, most certainly drop off the face of the earth now, thank you. Demon says the only ones that can stay as bees. No, I can begrudgingly accept that wasps need to stay as well. Especially the aggressive ones. Even though I don't want to suggest that the aggressive ones can stay, yes, they have to stay. Koi says, did you know Google is trying to drop like 30 million mosquitoes in Florida? I beg your pardon. What? Google? Trying to drop 30 million mosquitoes in Florida. Okay. How does that happen? Is Google mailing these mosquitoes to Florida and then just releasing them when they get there? How does that work for the poor postal workers that have to transport them? Do they just get absolutely drained like a vampire on a bender? Koi says, yeah, unfortunately, spiders and wasps are very necessary. Some spiders I do actually like. I don't like them anywhere near me, but I like them. I tend to like spiders' designs a lot of the time. I don't like them anywhere near me because I have severe arachnophobia. Yeah, arachnophobia sucks. Imagine you're trying to put on a boot and then something with far too many legs just crawls out of it. No, I don't like that. A human says the males don't bite, only the girls. Huh. Also welcome, Mindfire. Who says, I think I heard of that before. I believe the mosquitoes are modified in some way. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Genetically modified mosquitoes. Are these genetically modified mosquitoes the ones that are infertile? And oh yeah, they're the infertile ones. I suppose it makes sense. I remember a limerick that John Oliver once said, and I don't know why it's John Oliver's limerick that comes to mind, but I'm gonna look it up and recite it for you. Yeah, I can't find it. I just remember. Oh, it was probably from his gene editing video ages ago. I don't know why it came to mind. It just did. Cinder says, but a spooter. Does the foxo not like me? Oh, like I said, I actually like some spiders very, very much. But how to explain? My amygdala, the fear center of my brain, reacts violently to the presence of arachnids, like spiders. Like, violently reacts to them. Even jumping spiders, which are incredibly cute, might I add. And, you know, sometimes hunter spiders, which can be similarly curious and cute as well. But not as much as jumping spiders. Yeah, even jumping spiders can elicit that fear response in me. That's not something I control. It just happens. And I'm sorry. Emma says any more than 8 is too many. Emma says, I like one large spider at a time. Many smaller spiders equals no, 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 no. Cloud Corva says, I know entirely what you mean. Chloe says limericks are goated, by the way. I love having an art form basically dedicated to saying the nastiest, silliest, either insulting or not safe for work things you can think of. It's great. There once was a man from Nantucket who put some mice in a bucket. He carved up those mice, their genes he did splice, and now all of the seagulls are dead. I think that's similar to what he said, but not entirely accurate, I don't believe. Mindfire says, my rule of limbs, 0 is a key, 2 is fine, 4 is best, 5 is a kangaroo, 6 or more is scary. I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me. A human says, no spiders, please. Emma says also, centipoids and millipods is no. I tend to get freaked out as well. Mostly just 'cause unknown. Spyro says, I like spiders of Skyrim, large enough that I know they would be killed by the weights of their own exoskeletons. God Corvus says, I've said a few times, but I genuinely love centipedes, and also kinda spiders. I just think that most bugs are really interesting design-wise and as organisms, but then when I see one in real life, no. Breathtaking. The committee's gonna love that. Cinder says, but that thing, me in the background. Hi! She scares me. Oh yeah, I love snakes. Snakes are cute. Some snakes have just utterly adorable faces. Yeah, now I'm looking up snakes with pupper faces. They are so cute. Oh, so cute. That one is far too big and is covering my entire screen. Hello. Don't mind me. Trying to shrink down this picture so that it fits. But also, check this out. Look at him. Isn't that neat? Look at that pupper face. An absolute noodle. Snakes are amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's actually a snake named Tofu who absolutely fluffing hates Markiplier for some reason. An act that just makes me think, does Tofu know something we don't? It could just be that Tofu has something similar to me, just with Markiplier for some reason. Markophobia, if you will. Mindfire says, I just think it's interesting that kangaroos are considering pentapeds because they use their tails so much it's effectively a fifth limb. They already are a fifth limb. Tails count as limbs. Which would make cats pentapeds. But not really. Oh, I looked it up. They don't count as limbs? Oh, that sucks, but I was wrong. This is why you always fact check, even yourself, especially yourself. Oh. I have been robbed of the idea that tails are limbs. Cinder says tofu is a spy for honey. Oh gosh, the snake endorsed by honey. Demon says if you know how to use a tail as a third hand, you're good. Unfortunately, my tail doesn't count. It's not prehensile. It can curl around things just fine, like the people I adore. But it can't actually grab a mug, or a cup, or a broom, or a cauldron. Believe me, I've tried. Demon says, can we pet the mistress tail? Of course you can. Good girl. Good girl. Also, welcome, Perfect Centipede Gaming. Tofu works. Oh yeah, you're the one that said that. I can't believe I didn't notice your name before. Welcome. Is this your first stream? Aww. Aww, so cute. Star says, the snap. Absolutely adorable. Maya says, does anyone else get lost in just staring at her tail? Who says that it isn't intentional? You know, just something that draws your eyes as it sways back and forth and back and forth, with that lazy little flick that it has as it switches direction again. Forth and back and forth and back and forth. Such utter cuties, mesmerized by the tail. The tail of this one foxish VTuber. Good girl. Good girl. Demon says, triple kill. I believe it is in legends that if you pet a kitsune's tail, you're cursed. Though I don't remember if the curses are always negative. I personally like to think that sometimes the curses simply mean that you're under the kitsune's sway. That they can control aspects of you. Like how you respond. How your mind just relaxes and nods off a little bit. Just falling under a kitsune's influence. Typically a very dangerous affair. Cloudcorpus says the flick is very cute. Cinder says Foxo used her ult and killed most of the lobby. Maya says, oh god, it just let out an involuntary whimper. Oh, poor, poor things. Poor things. Also, Centipede Gaming says an alt. Lost access to Grimoire, so here we are. Hello, Grimoire. It's very good to see you. I'm so sorry about that. Mary says, I said the tail would mesmerize with its cute, fluffy swishing. Want to snuggle the kitsune? They seem really warm and soft. We are. We are. Incredibly soft and warm. You should come closer. And closer. And closer. Until you can almost just touch the fur. Good girl. Utter cuties. Mindfire says, I like the idea that a curse is a subset of enchantment. Not inherently evil, but their effects are more often than not negative for the afflicted. Demon says, help, I've been sucked into the tail. Sparrow says, want to spook some people with a reference. Whisper, rap, tap, tap, I am in your walls. In your dummy voice, pretty please. Rap, tap, tap, I am in your walls. Cinder says I would go closer, but Foxo no likes booters that are close. Well, I can tolerate you. You've been nothing but kind. And been so well behaved as well. Mary says it's a cuteness-based trap. Winter says I curse everyone in the chat with self-love. Also, hi. Welcome to the stream. You've just lost the game. Cinder says, Spyro, no! Cinder, yes. Dear Mystery says Giant Fox is killing us. Oh, I'm not a giant. I stand at 6 foot exactly. The boots pump me up to 6'1". And yes, I wear boots a lot of the time. A human says, dang, you're tall. Yes, I am. Though I would prefer to be a bit shorter, but I don't know. I think that being dominant suits this particular height. Wouldn't you agree? Winter says, tall women. Mary says there was a game. Cosmochum says, lost what game? Mindfire says, joke's on you, my Platinum Angel makes it so I can't lose the game. Emma says, tall women. Cloud Garva says, I heard boobs and was trying to figure out how on earth boobs adds to one's height. Oh. Well, they don't necessarily add to the height, but they do add to the profile, if I do say so myself. Though personally I could do with mine being a little bigger. Same for my tail, honest. I can imagine a big, big fluffy tail. Something for you to get lost in. Winter says to the Mindfire, in response I cast swords to plowshares. Demon says I was watching an ASMR. Excellent. Mary says I'm 6'1" in my socks. If I could get some heels, that would go up to 6'5". Demon says I can try to make a tail for you, mistress. Thank you, it's quite alright. I think that this tail here suits me for the time being. If/when I can get an upgrade for this model, then we'll see what I can do. Unfortunately, for the time being, it seems that all upgrades are on hold. Need to find a new creator, potentially willing to make a new model for me. Need to get it rigged and have it include all the features that I like. A human says I'm 5'1". How are you all so tall? Mostly just because I had a lot of testosterone poisoning when I was a kid. Basically shot up to about 6 foot when I was like 16 or so, and then it just stuck. Never shrunk. And I've hated it for a long time. But when Resident Evil Village came out, I actually grew to accept my height. And found that there are a great many people who are tall women enjoyers. Chloe says, oh no, she's gonna add a spiral eyes toggle. What are we ever gonna do? /silly. Oh, who said anything about spiral eyes? Well, maybe I could just make it so that the irises look like miniature gates. Gates to a tiny little palace in hell. Now, doesn't that sound interesting? Cinder says, honestly, I do sometimes wish I was Neapolitan's height so I could be skill and the danger. I see, Cloud Corvus. I see. Yeah, to be fair though, my character doesn't really come from hell. She's not really a hellbound fox like Demon Fox Akira. But she is a very much Wonderland-esque fox. So it could just be that it's the gates to the Red Queen's palace. And being that the Red Queen in my envisioning of the tale is much, much more different than the one from the original story, it could lead it to be a very interesting eldritch place. Demon says, be careful, tall lady will pick you up. That just kinda reminds me of something that Bear Waifu did a long time ago. Po, 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 po. Po, 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 po. Believe it or not, I did actually have a wide-brimmed straw hat and a white dress. Yeah, I didn't have the exact character connotations at that point in time, but, I would learn. Cinder says Hachi is back, oh no. I really enjoyed listening to her audios about the Hachishaku-sama. And it was way back before I even met her as a person. And Stars, I really, really idolized the way that she could voice characters, and a lot of the times I still remember some of the lessons that I picked up simply by watching her at work. It's unfortunate the way that things had to shake out, but I'm still a part of that series, I believe. And regardless, sometimes I still look back on the time spent together with fondness. I'll never forget it. I'm just gonna look something up really, really quickly. Do 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 do. It really has been 3 years. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Mary says, Hachishaku-sama? Damn, I learned about after playing Maiden of Blackwater. Stars, looking back on some of the old streams that we used to have together. Sorry for me being so quiet, by the way. I was just kind of lost in slight reminiscence, looking at some of the streams that we did so long ago. Stars, we really did have a lot of fun together, didn't we? It's a shame that things turned out the way that they did. Koi says, Chat, don't y'all love taking a really long walk in mid-80s weather in a full hoodie and heavy jeans? Well, I don't know about that. I kind of like being colder. I like bundling up in colder weather. Nothing wrong with a little bit of chill. As a matter of fact, I don't like heat that much. I can handle it in a pinch, it's just I don't like it. I live in 111 degree weather on a daily basis. It's currently 108 degrees. The high today was 112. Demon says, if you could do one thing to your pets and there's no rules, what would you do, mistress? No rules. Anything that my pets would like. Legitimately, anything that my pets would like. You know, so long as things were kept relatively ordered. Though I suppose I wouldn't mind a little bit of disorder. Cloud Gorva says, do I recognize that tune from somewhere? Potentially. All the music that I have as a part of the playlist come from Dova Syndrome. Mostly just, you know, because Dova Syndrome has a lot of really, really good copyright-free music. Makes it so that I'm not breaking my budget, paying for music, and it's, you know, stuff that, you know, if any of the original creators of the music have problems with, then they could simply contact me and I can pull it off of the playlist. Oh, the tune I was humming? Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. It could be. Personally, I was just humming what came to mind. And what came to mind was a little bit random. Maya says back I had to spend a bit petting my dog. Aw, puppy. Good girl. Mary says, ordered? I'll have a chicken sandwich. Chloe says, I can't stand heat, to be honest. A girl needs to walk, though. Hopefully you'll be able to move to a cooler place sometime. The idea is to go to, Colorado sometime. Most likely in the upcoming year. Though that's gonna be a little bit complicated. And I really will miss the people that I've come to love here in Phoenix as well. That I can survive in. Hopefully things will turn out well. My says getting clicker trained watching a Cutiefox stream. Real? Of course. Good girl. Such a good girl for recognizing it. I don't even need to buy a clicker. I could just snap my fingers and it attains the same results. Cosmochim says, is that what that is? Yeah. If you're talking about the loud, sharp sound that I make, that's snapping my fingers. It's not a clicker. Not an official one. But it acts the same. I can't really snap that well with my right hand. But my left hand... Yeah, that sounds loud, doesn't it? Camilla, welcome. Hello, Kent Long. Is Foxo streaming tomorrow? I will do my best to. Would love to be streaming far more often. And hey, I'm doing my best to stream these days to... What's the word that I'm looking for again? Keep consistency. Demon says, stop, please. I want to be clicker trained somewhere else. Goofy. Aww. Cosmo Choom says, oh wow, you're a southpaw. I'm not clicker trained, lol. A southpaw? I'm gonna look that up. Left-handed person. Typically a left-handed baseball pitcher or a boxer who fights with their right foot and hand forward. Huh. Yeah, I do a lot of things left-handed. Sometimes I write with my left hand, sometimes I eat with my left hand. But I'd been trained to exclusively use my right. So my right hand has a lot of dexterity. And my left hand is really, really shaky with a lot of stuff. But for snapping, right hand is actually the weaker case. And the left hand is the stronger one. Mary says, I need to get out of Nevada, it's too hot here. Cinder says, I only accept clicker training in anything not live, I don't want evidence of it. Fellow left-handed people spotted. Chloe says, I mean, we're just associating the finger snap with a good girl for now. We're not even halfway into clicker training. Yeah. Personally, I kind of like just attaching a sense of dopamine, happy feelings, good feelings to the sound of, you know, being called a good girl and following it up with a snap. I just think that it's absolutely cute watching people smile. And so for me, that's typically the extent of what I do. Simple, but effective. Strife says, I like it a lot too, Uwu. Mary says, staggering, I swear the clicker has no effect on me. Thud. Oh, poor dear. Maya says, yesterday I got recommended a video that was just 8 hours of science, broken up by random clicks. Aww. Cutie. Glad Corva says, oh gosh. Oh gosh, what? Is everything alright? Hello, Cloud Helena. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Cloud Corvus says, everything's fine, just flustered. I can't type. Oh, poor dear. Poor dear. Don't worry. Hey. Look at me. Good girl. Everything's going to be okay. I know that things are really, really tough now. But trust me, everything's going to be okay. Just be strong for me, okay? You can do that for me, can't you? Can't you? You'll be strong for me, won't you? Good girl. Very good. Good girl. Cloud Helena says, oh wow. Cutie. Utter cuties, the lot of you. Thank you, Cloud Corvus. I'm so proud of you. Mai says a screw fell out of my chair. I hope that isn't important. You can always check if it's important, dear. Cinder says, I'm looking at this and I'm scared for the day I become clicker trained. What are you scared about happening? That you'll hear a random click and then something unravels. Welcome, Nyx. Hello, just got back from eating dinner. Welcome and hi. It's very good to see you again. I was busy praising the audience here. These utter cuties in attendance. Maya says, oh, it's just one of 4 holding up one of the armrests. I can put it off. Understood. Also, I'm going to take a bit of a census here. Who here has drunk water today? Chloe says when the girl snaps and suddenly you're listening very attentively. Demon says, I think if I met Mistress IRL that she'd dominate me so bad that I melt. Cinder says, I'm scared of clicks, melts in a puddle. Demon says, I have. Cinder says, I've drank water. Nick says, I drank milk earlier with dinner. Sparrow says, yes. Strife says, I drank at least 4 bottles worth. Good girl. Good girl indeed. Good girl. Chloe says, do 4 Monster Energies count as water? Oh, and a Red Bull? No, they do not. Please. Please drink some water, dear. You can do that for me, can't you? Of course, Stripes. Of course. A human says, getting water now. I haven't drinking anything since dinner. Good girl. Also, sometimes I will just randomly say, you know, I will say good girl, and I will sometimes snap reflexively whenever someone does a request of mine. So, I am a part of the problem. You're not alone. And regardless of everything, I'm still insanely proud of you. I will always be proud of you. Maya says, does drinking 3 Monster Energies that are the color of the trans flag somehow work? They do not count as water. Winter says, I mean, most non-alcoholic drinks are around 99% water. Mary says, Seasnick's undooms theory. True that, true that. And in extreme cases, they're better than nothing. But I would much prefer that you stay hydrated. Winter says, anyways, time for me to grab my floor whiskey. Cinder says, despite everything you've gone through, and all you will go through, it's still you. Chloe says, unfortunately, caffeine is a diuretic which will dehydrate you. Yes, and speaking as a trans woman myself who takes a diuretic regularly as part of a bid to stop testosterone production in my body, yeah, it does dehydrate you, and you will need to drink a lot more fluids in order to stay functional. And B says, I was tempted to drink coffee earlier because I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. That's not good. Ugh. Yeah, that will cause heart problems eventually. Hello, Nathan. Thanks for the reminder. I'm gonna grab some water. Excellent. Chloe says I'm a fake brat. I always say I'm not gonna do it, and then yet I always do the thing immediately. Shout out Spyro. Demon says, when watching the mistress, keep a water bottle next to you. Mary says, Nix, I didn't doom the Yuri. I undoomed it. Very much a boneless pizza moment. Cloud says, I don't like coffee. I like hot chocolate. Hot chocolate is indeed very tasty. Sometimes I like hot chocolate with my coffee. I think it's called a mocha. Chloe says, I have a good DHT blocker, by the way. DHT blocker? Dihydrotestosterone. Oh. So it's not even a good? So is there one that's better? Oh my goodness. If there's like a better anti-testosterone thing than spironolactone, I'll take it. Nick says I was with wife because I couldn't spend time with her on my trip. I completely understand. You're talking about Ellie, right? Ellie is so fluffy and cute. I can't wait to talk with Ellie again. Sparrow says, wait, what? What about me? Oh no, we're actually talking about spironolactone, the anti-testosterone, medication. Cinder says, I like cherry coke and good old H2O. Strife says, I been too long since I've had some hot cocoa. Mary says, boneless pizza, do I want to know? It's about this guy doing a crank call, almost, except he's completely 100% sincere, and he orders a boneless pizza with a 2-liter of Coke. And then they get into an argument because, well, bones, pizza doesn't come with bones. You put bones in my shit then? Then what's the problem? It's basically saying for a regular pizza, yeah, just have no bones in it. Winter says Spiro being a androgen blocker is more of a side effect than its primary function. Mindfire says hot chocolate is the only hot beverage I drink. Otherwise, I'd prefer everything I drink to be so cold it's almost frozen. I kind of like that on some days, but in winter days, I kind of like hot drinks. Like tea, for example. I like tea, especially on winter days. Helena says I have marshmallows that look like snowmen's. Demon says coffee is best. I tried 5-hour energy is not as good. Nick says, yep, Belly is my wife. Yep. And I also believe that... we share Ellie in that regard, don't we? Insofar as she is partners to the both of us. So far as I recall. Moving right along. Cloud Corvus says that Mary, yeah, I've been there, I think. Oh, what was that message that Helena retracted? Oh dear. Chloe says, if I remember correctly, there's a chance of liver toxicity, but if you're going through an actual doctor, they can test for that. Mary says, I love tea. It's nice. Ah, welcome, director. Are we discussing beverage preferences? Make powdered hot cocoa, but swap the water for coffee to create the college student mocha. Next says my PS4 does not want to connect to my Wi-Fi and it's annoying me. I'm so sorry. Also, welcome back, random thing. Hello, hello. Demon Mystery says I have no idea what to get for me to help turn my body from male to female. Still have not found one yet. Okay, so basically for that you are going to have to go through a medical provider of some kind, and you want to be talking about stuff like estrogen, or, you know, its medical form, estradiol, and you want a androgen blocker, or a testosterone blocker. And that's if you're transitioning to have a more feminine presenting body. Helena says, can I snuggle fog the chat with consent? Emma says, snuggle the snuggle fog. Maya says, yeah, Chloe, I know there are ways. I think I have it easier. The question is just that I can hide it from my transphobic dad till I move out. Director says, sorry, discussing beverage preferences. Make powdered hot cocoa, but swap the water for coffee to create the college student mocha. Maya says, what is a snuggle fog? Cloud Helena is a cloud sorceress, and she typically cuddles people by turning into a fog. Hence, snuggle fog. Next says, I think I figured out the cause of my problem. Emma says, and for transmogrification, step 1, sacrifice chicken to the other world. Step 2, step 3, become girl. Nick says the massive amounts of blankets between my Wi-Fi extension and the PS4. Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me. The squeak was basically from me yawning. I apologize. Nick says very thick blankets. Director says, listen, the fell rituals are way cheaper than going to a doctor for HRT. Yeah, but in all seriousness, though, I think we all wish that we could induct the fell rituals. I think we all wish there was an easier way of getting access to gender-affirming care. This being what we've got, we'll make use of it. Those of us that want to, anyway. Random Thing says, I have similar Wi-Fi issues, except in my case it's because my house is 200 plus years old. Huh. Mary says I need more cuteness, so I also watch some cat clips on my phone. The cuteness quota has been met. Oh, such a pity that I cannot fulfill the cuteness quota by myself. Cinder says I would rather summon a demon to become a girl. I want my hell rate tracker. Demon Mystery says I talked to you about what I can do for HRT Mistress. Typically, you would go to your requests to your medical provider for HRT. A human says, I want to be the demon. glad Corva says, I mean, they're called the Felled Rituals. They seem so cool. How could you not want to try? Emma says, alternatively, send signals into deep space and invite space plants to come take over. I know what you're talking about. Mary says, are you kidding? You're the whole Fox Cuteness quota all by yourself. Director says, I'm fortunate enough to not experience a lot of dysphoria, sending y'all my best wishes about that hot mess. Yeah, personally, in my view, one of the best signs that you are trans is simply that you experience gender euphoria, and that dysphoria is not even required for you to transition. And even so far as medication and all that jazz, you don't even need to take medication. If you're comfortable in your own skin and you don't feel that you need to transition in that regard, then you don't have to. I'm not going to gatekeep people's transition. If they wish to go by a different name and different pronouns, then, and if that's all they want to do, then that's all they should have to do. It is truly a spectrum, a wide diversity of people, all on their own journeys, figuring out what works best for them. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. Helena says, I feel bad for you all. I was born a girl, and I feel that others don't get that. Makes me feel sad. Yeah, sometimes it feels really, really weird and sometimes awful for me personally. Especially when I think, wow, I won so many other coin tosses but lost this one. It feels like I was running a marathon race and then collapsed just before the finish line. It's like I almost made it, but not quite. But of course, that's not exactly a fair assessment to me. And it's not a fair assessment to others either. We didn't fail. If anything, we succeeded in so that we are recognizing who we really are. And who knows, maybe even if I was born in a woman's body, if I was like a, quote, cisgendered woman, there probably would have been a whole host of other sorts of, what's the word that I'm looking for, gender weirdness that could have occurred. In another universe, I might have actually been a trans man. Or non-binary. Or I simply may not have existed at all. Honest to goodness, the fact that I am here now, in my present form, currently being a VTuber fox girl on the internet, I don't really mind that this is the way that things shaked out. I am still incredibly seductive all my own, and I'm certain that my confidence where it is, I can certainly charm everyone here. And you all are magnificent in your own rights as well, and I am so very proud of you. And all the good girls in chat, good girl. Emma says, what is better, to be born girl, or to overcome testosterone through great effort? Maya says, I think I'll be taking a break. I'm feeling kinda down right now. Understood. We will always be here in case you need us. Emma says, I don't know why I'm doing a Parthenax. Cinder says, charm me. Nuh-uh, just don't click. No, don't. I know you want to, but you shouldn't. Good girl. Good girl, Cinder. Oh, I dare say that I've melted so many people here, Mary. Not just Emma. Emma is very cute, though. Next says, my PS4 needed an update, so hopefully that will fix the Wi-Fi issue. Director says, Cinder out here with the werewolf-type monologues. Helena says, sis, not fair. Cinder says, I said you shouldn't. Oh, well then, I do apologize. That I will wholeheartedly say was my bad. Demon Mystery says, do not do it. Do not even think about doing it. Don't think about not doing it. Director says, Nix. How did your PS4 download the updates with no Wi-Fi? Mary says, you've gotten me. Me of all trans girls. Chloe says, wait, sorry, can you do it again? I was walking my cat. Do what again, Chloe? Cinder says, I was joking, I don't mind. Sometimes I take things seriously, especially when someone's complaining. If someone's complaining about my conduct, I tend to like to take it seriously, because I don't want to cause legitimate harm to people. Does that make any sense? I want to limit the amount of distress that I give people, and maximize the amount of, well, happiness. If that makes any sort of sense. Maya says, the dog has been pet. Happiness back. I love him so much. Helena says, my big sis making me send out SOS of love. I need somebody to love. Huggles, Helena. Nick says, I connect my consoles and laptop to an extension because my main Wi-Fi doesn't reach my room well. I also have the main Wi-Fi memorized. Random Thing says, that does make a lot of sense. Demon Mystery says, I'm a good girl. Yay, you are a good girl. Very, very good. Oh, stars. This is certainly amazing. I am having a lot of fun. How are you feeling this evening? How's everyone feeling? Taking a hit of something sugary and sweet, as well as something that hydrates, in order to keep my energy up. Demon Mystery says, dead. Nathan says, EP. Winter says, at Emma, I need you to understand, I would rather overcome shit. I would give literally anything and everything to become a cis woman. Maya says, my water is halfway gone. I think I'm being a good kitty. You are. You are being a good kitty. Nix says, I give up with my Wi-Fi issues. I'm gonna play Skyrim. I'm sorry, Nix. Director says, I've had Dark Ocean summoning off the Alan Wake 2 OST stuck in my head all day. Also, I'm feeling pretty good. Chloe says, imagine being a good girl. I can't. No, really, it's a problem. I'm bad at being good. I don't think you're bad at being good at all, Chloe. Helena says, the back of my eyes hurt, but overall happy. I got Ouroboros. Random Thing says, the fact that my dogs woke me up after 5 hours of sleep has finally started kicking my butt. Cinder says, I'm a little eepy, but my brain won't shut the fuck up when I try to go to bed. I'm sorry, Cinder. I know what that's like. That always sucks. Maya says, I'm feeling good. Kinda got a bit emotional earlier, but overall I'm pretty happy. I'm glad to hear it. Mary says, my ankle's still acting up. How do you brat tame your ankle? You don't. I don't do brat taming for my ankle. Emma says that winter, yeah, fair. Demon Mystery says sleep. What's that? Something I get rarely. Corvus says, actually, I think I'm doing okay. The stream's been making me very happy, and I managed to do a little cleaning in my room and doing my laundry earlier, so it's been okay. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad that my stream has been helping. Emma says, as for me, I definitely like the body I could have had, but I feel like being a trans girl's given me perspective on the world that cis people in general don't get. Director says, at Project Lilm V8, where's that pro-CD skit? The city is doomed, Commander Fistfight. I've poisoned the water supply. That's so funny. I remember that pro-CD skit from back in the day. Very much feels like a Dr. Doofenshmirtz thing. Sometimes. Sometimes Doofenshmirtz comes off that way. Chloe says, oh yeah, Flowery told me. Deltarune's great. Winter says, I've spent the ages of 20 to 24 being a functional alcoholic because of how bad my dysphoria is, and I would give anything for it to be gone forever. Emma says, Flowery? Mary says, Nico the Fox. Cinder says, Deltarune mentioned. I don't know if I've played Deltarune on this channel. I don't know if I'm planning on playing Deltarune for this channel. Chloe says, Noelle is my favorite transgender lesbian. I love her. Proceed. Sander says, even if broken flowery is more than glass. Director says, proceed. Proceed. Emma says, at winter and same TH, I just try to find that what silver lining I can in the life I got. Demon Mystery says, flowers, I like a hood nightshade. What? Chloe says, I would proceed if someone told me. Emma says, like that, I get to have this lovely foxo in my life. Why, thank you so very much, Emma. Mystery says, flowers, I like nightshade. Cinder says, I will not proceed. I shall one-shot the night. Oh, stars, the soul is cracked at this. Helena says, dumb kids. Those are my dumb kids. Eat the owl lady. I like the Owl House. I was never able to watch the series from beginning to end, but I really like that series. I just think that it's neat, you know? Kind of like Gravity Falls. Helena says, I love Ida. Corvus says at Helena, amazing quote, thank you for reminding me it exists. Demon Mystery says, proceed. Nope, you can't make me. Random Thing says, Gravity Falls, my beloved. Oh, is that a woodpecker? Doctor says, have any of you seen those Gaster as G-Man animations? Really well made. Cinder says, wait, I have an idea. If we are the soul and Chris is their own person, can't they throw us into Papyrus's window so we can find him? Oh yeah, Flowery told me. Strife says that was me with Adventure Time. I only had cable when I visited family, but I love what I saw so much. Fall. Hello, Hannah. What the fop doing? So far, trying desperately not to get fatigued by the light and other overall attitudes and stuff. Mostly just trying to keep up energy. Director says at Cinder that would require Chris to cooperate, which from the little bit of Deltarune I've played seems unlikely. Mary says I summon Fluffy Fox. Now your life points are doomed, mad cackling. Demon Mystery says, for every pet the mistress gets, she gets a new tail. They're invisible tails. Also, I just like the fact that I have two microphones here, so I could literally separate them like this. And then I can talk in one ear, and then another. What do you think of that? Ooh, this is pretty nice too. Director says, hundreds probably. Helena says, wizards are just old people with glitter in their pockets. Nita the owl lady. Good girl. Strife says, very tingly. Hannah says, I wish I could hear both sides of this. I know that only would take putting the other ear of my headphones on, but I'm weird with that hush. The ASMR on that. Aw, poor Helena. Poor Helena. Aw. Poor cutie. Cosmochim says, I was born with unilateral hearing loss, so binaural audio just doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. But sometimes I do like binaural audios, especially with one voice that shows up in one ear and then the other. You know, stuff like that. I like doing that for my audios as well, but oftentimes there really isn't a call to do that. Especially like with Dragonling. I only ever included it in a few places for that one. Honestly, I really like how Dragonling Part 2 ended up. I think that one was a really, really good audio. Maya says, close up good girls are lethal. Hannah says, binaural audios would be fun to make. Too bad my mic only works in mono. Yeah, back before I got my dual mic setup, I actually manually caused the audio to play in either one or both ears. So basically, anytime you hear one of my older audios that does something similar to what I do these days, it's a little bit of technological wizardry. Cinder says, it isn't lethal, it's a death sentence. I actually melted there, oh my god. Good girl. Myeon Kompaku says, do you like Japanese ASMR? I haven't listened to any. I don't think. I don't remember if I have or not. I might have a long time ago, but I haven't listened to any in a long time if I have. Why do you ask? Hannah says, I don't know, I don't think I'm getting the lethal effect yet. Dies. Mary says, Nico, you're too OP. That good girl was devastating. Random things anyway, I was saying, that series is so good. I'm glad you like it. Corvus says, learning to fly as a dragon is so wonderful, and she's so nice, and I love being called daughter, and it's very good. Director says, I'm a paragon of willpower and restraint. You keep doing this to me? Chloe says, when you get that close, it starts clipping, sis. I'm so sorry, Chloe. Hannah says, I'm back in ghost form. Who do I haunt first? I've got a shit list, but I can't decide who to start with. Oh, poor dear. Poor dear. Demon Mystery says, try me. I dare you. Demon Mystery says, I already said that. Cinder says, well, Speeder's phone is at 20%, so I should go. I guess I'm leaving the web. Well, thank you so very much for stopping by, Cinder. Take care. A human says, you can haunt me as well. Be besties in the afterlife. Hannah says, okay, see, that's not working on me. You can't kill a ghost. Good girl. Chloe says, God, I wish I wasn't an annoying nerd so I could just enjoy the pretty fox like a normal person. Oh, it's okay, dear. You enjoy me in whatever way you fancy. Or you could... I don't know where I was going with that thought. Helena says, I'm back. Nope. Demon Mystery says, put this pow! I know what you're referencing to there, dear. Random thing is pulling your front hook. Aw, poor dears. Director replies to Chloe, the only reason I didn't say anything was that I thought the clipping was my laptop, Lamau. Yeah, the clipping most definitely is from the microphones. I don't know how to solve that issue. Not really. Not without turning down the volume so much that it causes, like, problems. It could just be that the microphones automatically clip after a while with certain volume levels. I hate that. But I don't know if I'll be able to replace my microphones if things are really bad. Oh, stars. Oh, stars, that'd really suck if I had to replace them. Demon Mystery says, I don't hear any clipping. What is clipping? I think maybe they're talking about the audio peaking in the microphones and making it sound bad. Volume can only go so high. If it goes too high, the waves get cut off at the top. This cut off of the waves causes clipping distortion, which tends to not sound nice. You can use clipping distortion artistically, but 99% of the time, you'll just want to compress it and then use a plugin to add controlled distortion instead. Aww. Stars. This can get so complicated. Chloe says, are you using OBS? Probably turn down the gain on your interface mic and add gain and a limiter in the effects. Maybe some slight compression. Yeah, I can turn down the gain on... Oh. For those of you listening, that probably sounded like really, really bad static. I apologize for that. Now to add gain. How do I add gain? How do I add gain to my OBS? Help. Hello? 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 Gonna listen to me speak on the stream. Sometimes I watch the stream so I can read comments that people are leaving in the chat. So I'm gonna listen to how I'm sounding. Does this sound good? Hello. Sounds cleaner too? Right, now let's see if we can add a little bit of compression to it. Audio filters, compressor. Alright. I'm just gonna maintain a speaking tone and listen to me as it plays back. Right. What happens if I turn the ratio down? How does it sound then? Hello, hi, this was the lower ratio. I was about to say radiation for some reason. And with it at a higher ratio, how does it sound with like a 30 ratio, for example? Does that sound good? Now, there's these things called threshold, attack, release, etc. So what happens if I bring it down to like minus 30 or so? Let's bring it down lower. What does that do? Ah, it just, it affects the volume. Alright, so I think here's roughly the sweet spot. What happens if I mess with the attack, moving it all the way to the right? Typically, it's about 6 milliseconds. I don't know. Moving it all the way back to where it started. And now I'm messing with the release. This is roughly 1,000 milliseconds on release. How does that sound to you? That turning it down made you sound a little quieter? Right. Well, I hope this works. I'm not sure. But hey, how do I sound to you now? Do I sound like I'm clipping? I think this sounds a little nicer than it did before. Excellent. Thank you so very much for the technical assistance. You utter cuties. Also, hi, Ray. Hannah says, ah, yes, mic settings, EQ. I totally understand all of that. I don't understand any of it myself, and I've been doing this for years. Be afraid, be very afraid. An ASM artist who doesn't know audio terms has been doing this for years. Helena says I sort of listen to my music on high volume. It's a bad habit. Same here, Helena. Same. As a matter of fact, I have, like, tinnitus from listening to my music, as, you know... And, yeah, basically listening to music, heavy machinery, stuff like that. Listened to most of that stuff all my life, which has severely reduced the quality of my hearing. Maya says, how would that work? Chloe says, also, if you want to get rid of background noise, there's another filter called an expander, which is the opposite of a compressor. If you set it right, it'll make everything quiet even quieter, like the background noise. Actually, yeah, we can actually do that now. Also, I just opened up my OBS and realized that for some reason it was also peaking in the red. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hopefully that doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, expander. It's an expander. Actually, I'm gonna keep the audio up on the stream so I can listen to it. Expander gate. Go back to RMS detection or peak detection. I can't really detect the difference. Right, gonna change the ratio. Hello. This sounds very strange. So that's what Threshold does. If we bring that attack down... Huh. Hello? So there's a little bit of that static as it's like cutting out of me speaking. That actually makes a lot of sense. It kind of makes it sound like every time I'm speaking there's a little bit of sand. What do you think, having a little bit of sand? Right, messing about with the release now. I think 300 ought to do. 300 milliseconds. What happens if the attack's raised to about 20? Or 10? Being at 1, it sounds like this. Maybe 5. Sounds like I'm talking absolute wizardry. I think that I should change the mic's volume down a little bit from where it's at. Because where it's at right now, it's a little bit loud to me. I think we could knock it down a bit to... How do you think of this volume? Not too loud, not too quiet. You're not listening to my fan all the time, although it does sound a little bit crunchy. So you'll experience a little bit of crunchiness on this. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Not enough crunch that I would notice without looking for it. And honestly, it could be a lot worse. A human says I don't really know what's changed. Well, you can't hear the background fan anymore, can you? Especially when I'm quiet. See? Maya says, I've fallen asleep like 3 times. I think I just gotta pack it up and go to bed. Good night. Good night. Good night. Black Wolf says, it's good. Crunchiness? Crunchy. Ray says, me a wizard redrawing my magic circles to make sure I summon the right demon. Yeah, that's about the size of what I'm doing. Myeon says, I think some prefer it with you have a tiny bit of static in the background when not speaking, so it doesn't feel weird to have the sand come in instantly out of nowhere. Corva says, why is the microphone attacking things? Can we ask it to stop? Corva says, well, my name's not Anakin, so I really don't mind. Director says, I don't like sand. It's coarse and it's rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Chloe says maybe sometime later I could actually show you how it all works, but YouTube chat isn't exactly the best place for that. Honestly, with it set imperfectly, I'd rather have the consistent background noise. Maybe make the release a little longer? Okay, I can make the release a little bit longer. The official release. Right, I'm gonna set it to about 500-ish. I think 500-ish should be a little bit cleaner. It slowly fades out as it goes on. Demon Mystery says I'm gonna make some more coffee. Ray says, so that was the background static back at the start. The fan would do it. I got a fan running in my room and my mic picks it up sometimes too. Yeah, but it's not really good for streams. I want to make sure that my streams are of relatively good quality, and anything that makes the quality better, I think is a win in my book. Helena says something is definitely wrong. The back of my eyes really hurt. I should go. Love you, sis, in chat. Be well. Be well too, Helena. Stay safe. Director says, the headphone jack on my laptop is a little borked from my old headphones cord yanking on it, so I get background static no matter what I'm listening to. Ray says, okay, but we also don't want the streamer overheating either. Oh, that's just the thing. I've got the fan on me. Director says to Helena, Hospital! Also Helena earlier saying, it's over! I have the high ground! Oh no, the high ground indeed. Oof. Black Wolf says, Fetish Foxa. Oh. Hi, Governor. What's all this then? Well, lots of planets have a north. Chloe says, also thank you for listening to my silly audio engineering suggestions. The stream sounds great and I feel slightly useful for once. You are always wonderful and welcome, Chloe. Thank you. Black Wolf says, right as rain. Right as rain. Director says, right, I need to go to bed. Have a good night, and in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Bye-bye, Director. Chloe says, me, when I lie. That just reminds me a little bit of a John Mulaney skit. And I said no, you know, like a liar. Ellie says, "Oh, welcome, Ellie. It's very, very good to see you again." And she asks, "When you continuing hospital? Are you talking about the trans femme hospital audio that I did? I don't know if I will be continuing with that one just yet. But it should actually be fairly interesting to see the listener's life in the hospital now that she's trapped there." You didn't see me before. I do apologize. I was also a little bit distracted. Grabbing your earlier message. Looking for it. Ellie. Ellie. You gotta teach me how to stream one day, lovely girl. Aww. Aww. The mental hospital one. The one where we go crazy. Oh, yeah, we definitely need some form of conclusion to that one. Something that's a little bit ambiguous, a little bit unsettling. What do you think, Ellie? Sorry, I'm humming weird stuff. Wait, which one was that called? Oh, it's actually a series. It starts with spiral, then spiraling. Basically, the premise for that one is that apparently you as the listener got hit by a truck and awakened sometime later in a hospital. You're cuffed to your hospital bed and you're not entirely sure why. And then a doctor called Dr. Melissa shows up and explains the situation. That essentially you had become openly psychotic and had started hurting people around you. And so they decided to keep you quarantined for your own safety. However, you're not entirely sure she's telling the truth. Demon Mystery says, "Can Mistress sing us a song?" Oh, I can certainly try. The world's greatest actor doesn't need a stage, 'cause they're so good at their craft that nobody knows they're fake. The fools had no clue, the one they knew was just a fraud, the master of pretending to be something that they're not. But as the years go by, the actor starts to change, as day by day they live their life like all the world's a stage. Their true self mutilated by their permanent new mask, but by the time they realize it, it's too late to turn back. The world's greatest actor despises their new form. Through their practice, saccharine smells they got much more than they bargained for as they turn back to their unsuspecting crowd, they thank them for their patronage and take their final bow. That one's a favorite of mine to sing. Ashiv says, "Are we sure she has a medical license?" No, you're not sure of anything, Ashiv, in spiraling. In spiraling, basically, it's left mostly ambiguous whether or not she's telling the truth. And whether or not you are actually psychotic, it could very well be that she's actually trying to help you in some capacity. It could very well be that you're actively causing harm in the community and you shouldn't escape. But at the same time, you have absolutely no proof that Melissa is who she says she is, and she isn't showing you her credentials. Ellie says, 70% of my playlist is your videos, by the way. It's like you became part of me. Oh, I don't know. Does it mean we can telepathically speak? Or it could be something similar to Forever and Always. Ray says, that's a favorite of mine too. A friend showed that song to me months ago and do character study liars and actors and maskers and the struggle with performance. Oh yeah, I've listened to the song a lot myself, and I sometimes see myself there. More? I can do a little more. Making up a song about Coraline. She's a peach, she's a doll, she's a pal of mine. She's as cute as a button in the eyes of everyone who ever laid their eyes on Coraline. When she comes around exploring, Mom and I will never ever make it boring. Our eyes will be on Coraline. Who's starving? Raise your hand. A ship says, clearly she's plotting against. Embrace the glory of chaos. The voices speak the truth. Ellie says, yeah, I was speaking about Forever and Always. Ray says, Coraline was one of my favorite movies ever. Wistful sigh. Wistful? Ray says, I miss stop-motion movies. I think they're still making them. It's just that they take a while. Chloe says, they might be giant sung. Fantastique. Would you own me down in a forest and sing Daisy, Daisy? Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy over the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy over the love of you. Ellie says, I don't know if I would run faster or give up. Random Thing says, has anyone actually seen a two-seated bicycle IRL? They feel made up. Oh, I've seen one. They're real. Mary says, falls back into chat. Ow! Who put that skyscraper under me? I just fell off of it. A human says, give up. Demon Mystery says, I love the song. Now you got me singing. I like singing. I like singing songs sometimes. There's also another one, Bones in the Ocean. I once had it memorized. But no longer do I have it memorized. But it's still a favorite song of mine. Emma says Foxo showing up outside your room at the circus at 2 a.m. like, dang, Nicole just keeps hanging out around outside my room and just sings that song. It's disturbing. Oh, I bid farewell to the port and the land, and I paddle away from brave England's white sands to search for my long ago forgotten friends, to search for the place I hear all sailors end. As the souls of the dead fill the space of my mind, I'll search without sleeping till peace I can find. I fear not the weather, I fear not the sea. I remember the fallen, do they think of me? When their bones in the ocean forever will be. Plot a course to the night, to a place I once knew, to a place where my hope died along with my crew. So I swallow my grief and face life's final test, to find promise of peace and the solace of rest. As the songs of the dead fill the space of my ears, their laughter like children, their beckoning cheers, my heart longs to join them, sing songs of the sea. I remember the fallen, do they think of me? When their bones in the ocean forever will be. When at last before my ghostly shipmates I stand, I shed a small tear for my home upon land. Though their eyes speak of depths filled with struggle and strife, their smiles below say I don't owe them my life. As the souls of the dead fill the space of my eyes, and my boat listed over and tried to capsize, I'm this far from drowning, this far from the sea. I remember the living, do they think of me? When my bones in the ocean forever will be. Now that I'm staring down at the darkest abyss, I'm not sure what I want, but I don't think it's this. As my comrades call to stand fast and forge on, I make sail for the dawn till the darkness has gone. As the souls of the dead live forever in my mind, as I live all the years that they left me behind, I'll stay on the shore but still gaze at the sea. I remember the fallen and they think of me, for our souls in the ocean together will be. I remember the fallen, and they think of me, for our souls in the ocean together will be. Blackwell says, I remember you singing Hoist the Colors on your Siren video. Oh, stars. I like doing that as well. What did you think? Ellie says, also Nico. Movie with emulator? Sure. Also, Good girl. Ray says, Miss Siren Fox returns. It was lovely. I riffed a little towards the end, making it sound a little bit shaky. And also, with some sustains, I'm a little bit shaky also. I'm working on it. Is Mistress Forklift certified? No, not yet. If you'd like, I'd also sing Hoist the Colors. Ray says you're already getting better. Yes! Okay. The king and his men stole the queen from her bed and bound her in her bones. The seas be ours and by the powers where we'll roam. Yo-ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Oof. Shall I do the whole thing, or is that good? Ray says practice makes perfect, and you're already at a great starting point. Cool. Emma says that was beautiful. Like teared up a little. I'm sorry, dear. A human says, I like the song when it's used to make things creepy. Black Wolf says, beautiful like a siren. Do the whole thing if you want, but don't destroy your voice. You need it. Okay, I'll get a drink first and drink a little first. See you all soon. Sorry, that just cut the audio out. It didn't actually, like... Okay, second try on the spell. Psst, I'm back. It is good to see you again. Star says I'm going to sleep feeling warm and happy because of the stream. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your evening, all of you cuties. Yo-ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Yo-ho, all together, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Now some have died and some alive, and others sail on the sea, with the keys to the cage and the devil to pay. We lay to fiddler's green. Yo-ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. The bell had been raised from its watery grave. Do you hear its sepulchral tone? We call to all, pay heed the squall, and turn your sail toward home. Yo-ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Yo-ho, all together, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Demon Mystery says, Eggman is forklift certified, and no one can stop him. Ray says, honestly, you ought to sing more often. You've got a really soothing voice, great phrasing and breath control. Mostly because I really enjoy everything related to voice. You know, I like singing, I like voice acting, I like doing little voiceovers. And I like doing the ASMRs. Cruel and cold, like winds on the sea, will you ever return to me? Hear my voice, sing with the tide. Our love will never die. Chloe says, OMG, wow, what a cute box. Also, your singing is very pretty. Thank you so very much. Mary says, watch out if she starts trailing. Ellie says, if you were a siren, would jump out of ship in 2 nanoseconds, but I think you would eat me. Oh no, I wouldn't eat you. I would claim you. Speaking Ballo ASMR when? I don't know. I can certainly try for it. A human says if that's the case, I'm jumping ship too. Well, to be fair, in mythology, oftentimes sirens use what you yearn for most to lure you out to them. to go by. My love will never die. Come, my love, be one with the sea. Fuck, I forgot the rest of the song. I was singing it mostly from memory there, and then I just forgot it. My apologies. Black Wolf says I suffer a fear of the deep dark sea, so damn it. Mary says it'll be a fluffy, spoopy time. Ray says, I feel you. I forget the lyrics too. No need to apologize. While still I'm waiting, hanging on you. So it's one for the night where I broke his heart, one for the joke that I took too far, and it's one for the dent in the rental car. The doodles I'd undo. Could definitely do doodles. I like the song Doodles. Would you like to hear Doodles? Well, yes. Let me look up the lyrics to it. One for the night when I broke his heart, one for the joke that I took too far, and it's one for the dent in the rental car. The doodles I'd undo, I've got doodles I'd undo, and doodles I'd unmake when the road is passing you. Oh, there's nothing that I won't break. I've got lies I'd swap for truths, and truths that I'd unsay. So when the barman's passing through, there is no knowing what I'll take. 'Cause it's one for the night when I broke his heart, one for the joke that I took too far, and it's one for the rent in the dental car, the doodles I'd undo. And it's one for the times when I let them win, one for the light that I let him in, and it's one for the kiss that should never have been. The doodles I'd undo, I've got doodles I've undone, and doodles I've undid. I've got days I can't outrun, and days I can't unlive. I've flown too close to the sun, and too close to the wind. So tell the barman, leave it open, I'm gonna need a couple more drinks. 'Cause it's one for the night when I broke his heart, one for the joke that I took too far, and it's one for the dent in the rental car, the doodles I'd undo. And it's one for the times when I let them win, one for the light that I let him in, and it's one for the kiss that should never have been. The doodles I'd undo. Ooh, 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 ooh. So it's one for the chaos and one for the crack, one for the kiss, I should not have done that, and it's one for the lover that I'll never get back. The doodles I'd undo. 'Cause it's one for the night when I broke his heart, one for the joke that I took too far, and it's one for the dent in the rental car, the doodles I'd undo. And it's one for the times when I let them win, one for the light that I let him dim, and it's one for a kiss that should never have been, the doodles I'd undo. Thank you so very much. Chloe says, Chet, I'm so excited I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, first since moving, and I can finally get back on the meds I need, and get documented estrogen, too. Oh, excellent. I hope you achieve that. Ray says, and the crowd goes wild. Was it really that good? Literally making me want to dance again. Alas, it is 10:30 and I already showered, but I'm hyped. I do the best I can. I know that I'm not the best with certain notes, and I'm desperately off key in places, but I think I'm getting there. Slowly, surely, hopefully. Little side undo. One for the kiss. I should not have done that. Practice makes progress. Thank you, Ray. I think I'll try my best to sing at all times when I need to. It's basic, at all times where I can. It is its own muscle, isn't it? It's kind of like voice training in that regard, except a little bit more specialized. Ray says, learn to take the damn compliment, Nico. Hey, I can acknowledge that I need to improve and also accept the compliment. Thank you. I don't even know what notes or keys really are when it comes to singing, but I think you're wonderful. Curious, how high can you sing? Says Ghost Medic. I believe this is the first time I've seen you, Ghost Medic, but hi! As for how high I can sing, it's about this high, higher and higher, and lower down here. Ray says, Voice muscle training is the name of the game, plus the mental focus of staying in the song, and you're already doing really well with that. Alright. Replace the ghost with Merc. I'm sure that would be jogging your memory. Merc med? I'm sorry, I'm not really I'm not remembering properly. Also, welcome home, big sister. Oh, I'm doing okay. What about you?
Open house.
Come here.
Had to say
Hug. Hug. Humming as I hug my big sister. Thank you, big sis.
love you.
I love you. You're gonna rest, right?
I don't think I have much in the way of energy to do much else.
My big sister's gonna be resting.
I don't think I'm even got energy to eat.
I love you. Ray says I don't know what keys are. Oh, I have to stop myself from busting at my choir knowledge, and 1 year of voice lessons I will hold back. I'm sorry, Ghost Medic. It's not ringing any bells for me. Everyone says hi. Hi, CM Fireflies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's very good to see you again. And I do apologize, Ghost Medic. But it is still very, very good to see you. Ah, ooh, that was a... Ooh. Sometimes I still get hit with bad intrusive thoughts. Bad one just hit me just now. It's... Ooh, disturbing. Cosmetic says, indeed it is as well. I see you're doing well so far. Yeah, it is. I'm doing as well as I can. Thank you. Ray says, oh no, I'm sorry. It's quite alright. Also, yeah, just doing my best to get better at singing. And trying not to worry so much. Snuggles. Anyways, thank you so very much for listening to me prattle about and sing a lot for you. It was really, really fun. So I think that ought to do it for me today. So please make sure that you get some adequate rest and that you drink some water and that you stay safe out there. Surviving is winning. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope to see you sometime tomorrow, if I stream tomorrow. Good night.